Good afternoon, and thank you again for clicking on my channel. I'm gonna briefly talk about Euphoria. Um, I wasn't for sure if I was going to record anything about this series or not because this season so far isn't living up to the rest of the seasons. And I hope I'm not the only one feeling that way. But if I am, then well, it is what it is. But I say that because it's been 4 years since the last season. And I'm like, why? You know, why is it taking so long? I get like, okay, we've had writer strikes and, people working on other projects, blah, blah, blah. But still, it shouldn't take 4 years to make a fucking show. Um, But also, with all that being said, the last two seasons were pretty good, and so I'm like, all right, 4 years, like this season's probably going to be like epic. So things have happened. We've lost some people. Um, like one person in particular. Nothing like you can't you can't move on, but he was starting to like be like when I say be somebody like kind of build his career, and that was Angus Cloud. But he died, um, sadly. What was it? Was it last year? Let me see. Let's see if it'll say on his 2023. So a lot longer than that. See, that's what I'm saying. It's been so long since the last one. And of course, then we have other people who didn't want to return, like Barbie Ferreira, who played Kat. Um, she was kind of like, um, I'm gonna put it nicely, a big, well, let's just say a plus size girl. Even though this guy Eric Dane, he is in this season, but he also passed away. So it's like we're losing a lot of people, and I don't even know if this show will carry on past this season. I'm hoping and assuming that this is going to be its last season. But yeah. Anyway, with all that being said, Zendaya pretty much carries this show. She's a wonderful, talented actress. Um, and with this season, she was really trying to like not be in the business anymore. Like when I say business, like the drug business. So, um, let's see if I can find her name. Um, Lori basically found where she was working and saying she's very like monotone when she speaks. It's just like, so I hear you don't really want to work for me anymore. That's fine. But you do owe me a lot of money, and I'm going to get it one way or another. Um, and of course, she has some lackeys that work for her, right? And so she's like, so you're either going to work for me to work off your debt, or we're just going to have to kill you. That's just that's just kind of it. So then she started working for her, being like a drug mule. Literally, it was like her and another chick swallowing bags full of coke, because then when when you're trying to get it past customs, you got to be clear. Um, and then she just said, "Fuck it, I can't do this anymore." And she came across. Let's see if I see him. I know he's in here somewhere. Um, maybe he's in here. Um, sorry, I'm just trying to find the dude. Like, what his name is. Um, come on, where you at? Alamo Brown. Sorry, that took way too longer than I anticipated. So he works at this, as they want to call it, a titty bar, and he does pretty well for himself. Um, he buys drugs from Lori and distributes throughout the bar and the dancers and yeah, that's kind of how they've been thriving. So um, Rue, Zendaya's character, was just like, hey, like I really want to turn my life around. Like um, I don't want to be in this business anymore. And I'm thinking like, um, it just really seems like you have a good handle on what you're doing with your life, blah blah blah, and I would like to be a part of it and just kind of, you know, basically rebuild my life, start all over. And of course, things happen. He kind of like pushes her to her limit and see if she can really tolerate it. And she lets him know that he can trust her. Um, things go down between both of them. This last episode, well, okay, not the one I just watched, but the previous one that was as episode 3. That was a shit show all on its own. Um, so Bishop, who also works for Alamo, he takes Rue, um, and they go and like pick up some drugs, right? Pay the money, but he also puts the pill in the water of this bird and kills the bird, and yeah. um, that was so then from that, then they pretty much knew who did it, who was behind it. Then they came back to the bar and uh, held up um, another one of their workers and like kind of like held them up, took the money, but also shot him. So he's like hanging on for dear life. We don't know if he's going to survive, but we'll see on the next episode. But yeah, so things are going down. So that's Rue, and then you have Hunter Schafer's character Jules. She's the painter. She's doing pretty well for herself. Jacob Elordi's character Nate has been in a relationship with Cassie, and they just got married this past Sunday's episode. Not this, not this episode, but the one before. Um, Nate, some shit's going down with his business. He owes people some money, hasn't been able to pay it. He keeps promising them. So a guy came into the wedding and just saying, "You owe me some money." Then he's been at his house. He cut off a toe. Like this is collateral basically, and so there's that with them. Maddie, um, she's kind of like she was working for um a woman doing pretty well, but then she decided to work for herself to um represent other girls and talent. So then now she's working with um um Cassie because Cassie's been doing OnlyFans, and now she's like really needs feel like she needs to do it to try to help um, Nate out of debt. Um, Lexi has been working for this what do you want to call it production company. Seemed like she was doing pretty well, but there's just like always drama with everybody. I mean, of course, it's a drama show, but overall, overall, I must say this season has not is not living up, and I'm kind of sad by that because like I really love this show, and it's just not giving me what I want, what I need out of this show. And to be honest, there's some people. Well, one person in particular that I do not like the real person, and that's Sydney Sweeney. Like she just, I don't know, something about her. Like she just comes across as rhymes with blunt, and even Zendaya, she doesn't care for her. She said she does not want to be filming with like any scenes with her. She does not want to be taking pictures with her. So that's why I'm saying I'm assuming with like this is it's gotta be the last season. So hopefully it wraps up somewhat decently. Um, but yeah, um, um, that's kind of it so far of like what's kind of happening. Just kind of like wanted to give my honest opinion about this show because the last two seasons were like top tier, and we can go through some reviews, and this may be like over past seasons. I don't know if it's about this season so far, but let's dive into it, shall we? This first one says poor representation of teens, but they give it a 9 out of 10. It's way too overdramatic. The lives of each teen seems so unrealistic. I see that they're trying to cover real problems, but it just doesn't make much sense for high school students. I feel as though it would be much better if the characters were college students. Some of the stuff in the show is so extreme for 16, 17 year olds. I'm 16, and it felt like I was watching a bunch of teenagers acting way too old for their age. I don't necessarily know how to. how to explain it, but it seemed like the teenagers weren't around the same age as me. I often forgot that they were teens, and it made it very hard to relate to them. But you gave it a 9 out of 10. Okay. Okay. Um, all right. Moving on. This one also gives it a 9 out of 10. It gets a lot better. I am going to try to keep it brief. In the beginning, it seemed like the show was dark just for the sake of being dark. Everything seemed cliched, and there was a vast degree of exaggerated negativity. Mix that with a slow beginning, and you're turned off for the most of your potential viewers. However, during the fourth episode, I began to witness the story take a definitive direction. It seemed to me that the relationships among the characters increased in complexity. I would agree that this show isn't for everyone, but please give time for the story to develop before plaguing it with a one-star review. For me, Jules' backstory in the beginning of the episode 4, along with the perfect music accompanying it, is the reason for my high rating. I don't think I've ever been moved this much by a TV show. Um, this one gives it an 8 out of 10. I like it, but I don't understand the point of it. First things first, cinematography is beautiful. Actors did a really good job, and overall, it makes a decent show. But I don't understand if it's trying to spread awareness or trying to encourage young people to do this type of behavior. I also saw one review that said how the show is showing the truth about teens today, and I personally don't think that they're wrong. In my opinion, this show is overly dramatized. I understand that this it's a TV show is supposed to be dramatic. I'm currently in my late teenage years and I haven't seen anyone going through what these people are going through in this show. But I would still recommend it to people. I got my I got things to say, but I'm gonna continue. Okay, so they didn't give a rating, but it says exploitative and boring. This show is just pure example of a steaming pile of garbage. I don't understand the hype of this show, let alone the praise it gets of awards. Zendaya is an overrated actress and can really only play three kinds of roles. With lukewarm acting at best, she basically plays herself if oh, sorry, plays herself and doesn't step out of her comfort zone when she acts. Which is funny because acting is when an actor acts like someone they are not. I also think that the writing is a mess of with tons of convenient plot holes for the writer to retcon in later seasons. The story is also very cliche and unoriginal. Uh, and high schoolers don't do all of that crap you see in the show. I know from my own personal experience and my friends' experience. This is absolutely ridiculous, and it makes its message all more unbelievable. And don't get me started by how it sexualized high schoolers and prostitution. It's sick. I have a feeling the show's directors will have allegations against him in the future. Only thing I can praise is the stellar cinematography and vivid lighting. Euphoria gets a one oh there it is 1.5 out of 10 for me. Okay, so they did not like the show at all. All right, we'll do one more and that's it. This one gives an 8 out of 10 about teens, but not for teens. Very true. Sex, drugs, and more in high school. First, a warning. Although this is a show about high school teenagers, it's too much for teens to watch. Much more than 13 Reasons Why, there are parts when the scenes are much more explicit than necessary for the story. There isn't a boundary. This show doesn't try to push for TV. Having said all, there is some fascinating and bizarre characters that keep things morbidly watchable for 8 episodes. A biracial lesbian drug addict, a transgender girl who is her bestie, a jock with demons, his closeted statutory rapist dad. The lies goes on. It's hard to keep track of the different characters and plot twists. Some tunes. Even if you don't agree with the suitable of the content, having acting is better than it has to be. Zendaya is convincing as an addict, very natural acting. Jacob Elordi does the mean jock well. Hate to say it, but do what have to, hate to say it, but do want to see what happens in season 2. Okay. So yeah, these are obviously previous seasons. So who knows what they'll say about season 3. Overall, 8.2 out of 10. Um, so my rating, I'm just gonna rate that over the past 2 seasons. I'm gonna give it like a good solid 9 because I really enjoyed the show. Um, but I will say, and I've told people this, people who have tried to watch it and can't get into it. Yes, it's a drama show. It's about teens, but not for teens. Like one person said, it's very sexualization. Um, it's very exploitive for the drug usage, the sex, prostitution, etc. Blah blah blah. And yeah, okay. Again, this is a TV show. I don't know who's live or what they've drawn from to build this show, but I mean, again, it's a show. It's just a show. And if you're getting mad about your kids watching it, you know what? That's on you. That is on you. Maybe you should like have some parental guidance on what your kids are watching. There you go. There you go. But yeah, the acting. I don't know what that one person was saying. Like Zendaya can't act. I think she's a phenomenal actress. Her character in that show is super believable. And if it wasn't, like, why is she winning those awards? You tell me. Can you tell me? Um, Most people in that show are like truly believable. I almost hated um, the Jacob Elordi's his character's father, because not only was he having sex with trans, but he was also having sex with men. And I'm like, whoa. And yes, they were showing some stuff. And again, it's for a much mature audience. Um, but yeah, I I don't know. A lot of people will probably say I didn't go through shit like that in high school. And maybe a lot of people didn't. I know I didn't, but I know there's some people, and probably like the most that they've ever done was smoke weed, right? I didn't smoke weed until like after high school. Um, but to be honest, I don't even consider that like a real drug. Um, but yeah. Um, but I don't know. I mean, it would be cool to know like where they drew this from. Like where it's got to come from somewhere. Like you can't just be like, oh my god, I got a great idea for a TV show. Um, but yeah. Anyway, that is my perspective over season 3 so far. That's so far my review over the last 2 seasons. If I was just from the 4 episodes that I've watched from this season, Just this season alone, I don't know. I give it like a 7, maybe. It's not doing anything for me. But yeah. Um, Let me know how you feel about the show if you're watching it. If you have watched it, like all the seasons, including where we're at right now. Um, and if it's not for you, let me know. Let me know. Okay. Anyway, that's it. I hope you are having a great, wonderful day. Um, and I'll see you on the next episode. All right. Bye.